when you're getting a mortgage approval, get what's called a fully underwritten mortgage approval and nothing less, because that means you're done.
Welcome to We Fix Real Estate. We have Chris Gustavel and Hertha on the show today, making a debut appearance, and Renee is incognito.
Hertha, talk about Sacramento. I mean, it doesn't even have to be real estate. You know, there might be people thinking buying there, moving there, never been there. Why do you come there? And it's hot in the summer, but what else?
I think Sacramento is an awesome place to live because we are centrally located. You can get to Napa in just under an hour. You can get to Tahoe. You can get to Reno. You can get to the Bay Area. That's one of the reasons why I think it's a really, really amazing place, because we have all of our seasons too, right? Tahoe in the winter, you have snow, and then LA is about 5 hours from us. So there's just infinite possibilities when it comes to
getting
a
land speeding record.
A what? Yes, 5 hours. I can get to LA in 5 hours.
No traffic, right?
Right. You have to leave at 3 a.m. You have to take the 5, not the 99.
You may get to LA, but you're not going to get to where you want to be in LA.
Right.
You go to Santa Clarita, maybe. But
yeah. Let me be specific.
Only
Maybe
3 more hours to get to the beach. So
price point wise too, I think, it is what it is as far as, what's going on in the economy, but we still have, I'd say, a pretty decent amount of, your standard 3-bedroom, 2-bath or 4-bedroom homes. I'd say the average is somewhere between 6 and 7, which is crazy because it wasn't that a couple years ago, but, pretty decently priced compared to the Bay Area is what I'm referring to. So we still have a lot of people moving this way, and even further. Modesto, Fresno, the outskirts of Sacramento. They're starting to really boom and grow.
I know there is, but correct me because I can't remember the details, but there is a train that runs from Sacramento to the Bay Area if you needed to commute. Is that Amtrak or what is that?
Amtrak.
Okay. And so I guess it runs to Oakland and then you jump on the BART to get to San Francisco or a bus.
Yes.
Okay.
I think Berkeley, Richmond, some of those have connections. It goes all the way it goes past Jack London now, I think, too. They've extended the BART and Amtrak in some places.
Yeah, I know. Allegedly, BART and Caltrain are going to run one big circle so you can go all the way around. We shall see. It's getting close. It's close in San Jose. I'm just not sure about the other direction, but
yeah, it's all that outskirts out towards Pittsburgh, and I think that's where they'll connect it
somewhere. Who knows?
Help people maybe considering buying a home in Sacramento. What are some of the challenges that kind of the new homeowner or the inexperienced to the area homeowner faces in navigating the city and its areas?
I think it's pretty easy to navigate here. I used to live and work in San Francisco, and the one-ways and the lack of parking, and to me, that's anxiety times 10. But with Sacramento, it's not that bad. We're pretty spread out. You have your pockets. Everyone knows Roseville, Rockland, Lincoln, Granite Bay. That's kind of the half that's closer to Reno. You have West Sacramento, which is, I'd say, the fastest. If you want to live there, that'd be the fastest way to get out of Sacramento and head to the Bay Area, as well as Elk Grove. We have a lot of Bay Area people who will move to those cities because they can still get to the Bay Area fairly quickly. Central, you have East Sacramento. Downtown is really beautiful. And then El Dorado Hills area, Folsom, really great schools out that way. And you can get some really amazing views in that area as well. So it's not too difficult. We're kind of like a circle. I have to say. It's kind of like a circle with downtown being in the middle, and then everything else is just surrounding the downtown.
To really generalize, how would you paint East Sacramento versus West Sacramento?
West Sacramento is still being, I would say it's super developed now. Still a lot of new homes, a lot of, I'd say grocery stores, and just a lot of things are being built in West Sacramento.
And we're talking about the area between Davis and Sacramento?
Davis is coming into Sacramento, UC Davis, amazing school. And that would be what you would hit before coming into West Sacramento. But that would be, that would kind of be ideally in the same area.
I see.
East Sacramento is closer to downtown, I would say. And you would probably pass through it as well on your way out to Folsom and El Dorado. But a lot of the homes in East Sacramento are older but beautiful and just, really beautiful old homes. And they hold their value. They hold their value over there.
And then what about like navigating the water? Because you could have a house on the Delta or you could have a house on a lake.
Yes.
I think a lot of people who aren't from the region don't really understand how much like ability to live at or close to water it is, even though it's in the middle of the California.
Absolutely. Folsom Lake over, by the Delta. We have, where else? I think Folsom
Bay
Lake is
area?
really the, Granite Bay. But Folsom Lake is really the popular, I'd say, place as far as like living near water.
And then what
And
about
then,
the Delta?
off the Delta.
Mhm.
We have a really nice community. We have some man-made lake type communities. There's one not too far from our Sacramento airport that has been building in the last couple of years. I want to say they started in 2023, 4. It's a Lennar community. They have a man-made lake, and those are really nice homes as well. So we have a few of those kind of man-made lakes, those communities.
I remember kind of running around East Sacramento once, and I mean, the houses, they blow your mind. I mean, they're big, they're solid, they're beautiful. So somebody appreciated architecture back then. It's nice. They also have this, I remember from Old Town, there's a bike path. I don't remember which direction it is, but it was fabulous bike path. Really beautiful. So there's a couple of them up there that I've heard of. So if you're a cyclist, enjoy it up there. But can get hot in the summer.
Very hot. Our temperatures last year, 117, I think was one of our highs. So I know this is going to be brutal. Yeah. It's been getting really, really hot.
So air conditioning is going to be vital.
Vital.
Or lots of people with fans.
That was very interesting, Hertha. Have you seen the market evolve over the last couple months? Like we're currently in kind of a tumultuous state in the economy right now. Are you seeing that trickle into Sacramento? And because Sacramento is so close to politics.
The values are still increasing. I'll tell you that.
That's good.
Yeah, that's not changing. Home values are still going up. I wouldn't say I'm seeing foreclosures or anything crazy like that happening yet. Politics wise, it's pretty much what you see happening everywhere else.
And not so much political, but are people writing less offers? Are you seeing a kind of everybody wanting to hunker down or actually buy a home so that they have a little bit of security?
It's definitely slowed down. I'm seeing those that are doing right, are participating in the market, but there's a huge chunk of the market that is just holding tight and holding steady. Definitely.
And Chris, is that translating up to Seattle area or?
Actually, no. I mean, we have 2 people this week that are looking to place offers. I mean, I haven't seen it. Houses are still coming on the market, multiple bids, people are still buying. So, I mean, not yet.
Well, I can say the house that's been next to us for months finally went pending this week. So
Really? See?
Yeah, that's my anecdotal evidence.
Yeah. We'll have to see what it went for. That'll be the big thing.
Oh yeah.
So hopefully keep an eye on it. A couple of weeks it'll pop up. But Seattle's kind of different than Sacramento. I mean, Sacramento's quote unquote industry is the government, and then there's everything that kind of spurs around it. One question, Hertha, have you felt any difference in the Sacramento area because you now have this baseball team, formerly from Philadelphia?
What baseball team?
Are they from Philadelphia? Yes.
Originally, the Philadelphia A's went to Kansas City and then moved to Oakland, and now they're in Sacramento.
Wow. I didn't know that. I learned something new today.
There you go.
Yes, there's so much buzz around this team. We're expecting a lot of growth from that. We are. And the season just started, I think, or the first game was last weekend, I believe. And huge turnout. The tickets are actually priced pretty high compared to what our River Cats team was
Of
priced at
course,
what?
you're paying for more salaries.
Exactly. And they had to do some work on the stadium as well to accommodate everybody. So no, we're expecting to see some growth somewhere with that. Haven't run to any players looking for a house yet, but yeah, no, there's a lot of buzz and we're waiting to see what happens with that.
Yeah, it's interesting because there's still the Vegas deal is not 100% done, and this owner of the A's obviously is a negotiator who doesn't really care. He just wants to get what he wants. He's got enough money. He doesn't care. So, I mean, that stadium in Oakland, I went about 5 years ago and I thought I was in a prison. I mean, it was just so run down and terrible. It was just horrible.
Is this a minor league team? And
No, this is the Oakland A's. This is,
but I mean, in Sacramento, this team is that.
it was a minor league stadium and now they converted it
Okay.
a little bit so that the A's could play there. Because the deal is they're waiting to go to Las Vegas.
No.
So that's kind of a good thing to talk about in real estate. Do teams help real estate values, things like that? And everywhere is going to be a little different because, like in Philadelphia, they put the stadiums in South Philadelphia where basically nobody was, but there are row houses that are near their town. Y'all might know them as townhouses. We call them row houses because they're just house right next to each other. Fee simple, no associations. Anyway, so down near the stadium, they have to close off that area like 3 hours before the game so people don't park. You have to have parking permits. So it's a little bit of a pain that way. You have to show some kind of an ID or the pass to get in to the area during those games. I don't even know what they do if your friends are coming over. I'm sure there's some way of getting them in. But, you know, on one hand, it's a little bit of a pain on game day. And by the way, all the stadiums are down there: football, baseball, basketball, and hockey. So it's busy all the time, and concerts, et cetera, et cetera. So, you know, it's a little bit of a detriment that it's busy, but think of yourself if you lived in a downtown area where there's people walking around all the time. So kind of, sort of, maybe the same that way, but the ability to just walk down to the game, you know, walk over in the 6th inning and get in for free or something. You know, it's just great, especially as a kid.
Oh yeah.
What a cool thing to do. So is there value in it? It's the value to that person.
It'd be
your stadium.
The revitalization of the area because you're going to have all that infrastructure to support the.
Sure, but it's more commercial and park. It's transportation issues, food, entertainment, the game, hotels, maybe. That's it. I mean, there's nothing else an amusement park. I don't know. I mean, it's just so weird. Like in the Bay Area, you know, right next to the football stadium is the amusement park. But and you're just behind a bunch of office buildings. It's very strange. But they put it there, and the traffic goes there. It all works, and there's people who live near there. I don't think they care that the stadium is there or not. So that's.
But like the Giants Stadium, I forget what they're calling it nowadays. It was Pac-Bell in the day, but
yeah, AT&T, I think.
Totally revitalized that area south of downtown.
I was just going to start talking about that. Then came Mission Bay, which is just, you know, over the little bit of water there. Whatever that is, that a canal right there where the houseboats are. By the way, the hardest thing to buy in San Francisco is one of those houseboats. Trust me, insane. You can't get one. I know of a billionaire whose name you would know that I could mention couldn't get one.
Nobody was selling it, or just
nobody was selling. They are so rare to get. It's impossible. But anyway, yeah, the ballpark right downtown, Caltrain 2 blocks away, the BART, I don't know, 5 blocks away. So it's really convenient that way. There's all the restaurants were there. They started buying up old buildings, tearing them down. You got all these condos and apartment buildings down there. Mission Bay then starts with offices. Then goes and builds that Chase Stadium for the basketball team and the concerts. So that's starting to populate. So that's getting busy. So that's kind of the thing they were going to do in Hunters Point kind of next till they found, whoops, it's a little dirty dirt.
What were you doing in Hunters Point?
They were building gazillions of square feet of everything,
Oh, wow.
including Google was going to build their headquarters there, a second headquarters, but it all got pushed back because of the problem with the soil. But I think it's all solved now. I haven't been following it day to day. But yeah, living near a stadium. I mean, it's, I don't know. Anybody know of Chicago Stadium? The Wrigley Field is in the neighborhood.
I'm in Chicago. I know San Diego, when they built the ballpark downtown, it completely revitalized East Village and downtown San Diego.
So, it's good news, bad news. Every owner has been crying they need money to build stadiums and they're going to have economic development. Yeah, over the long run, the economic development is there. Is it worth it for the city to invest? I don't know. I don't make those deals, but I'm sure people smarter than us have figured that out if it happens or it doesn't happen. But, there's a lot more privately built stadiums now than there were years ago because these kind of guys kind of didn't have that kind of money. So build it. Now they do. And so goes the rest of the economic area. So we've been just rattling here.
Do we want to talk about pre-qualification versus fully underwritten?
That pre-qualification letter that I put, what we do, kids, here, a little behind the scenes stuff, is we have a Slack channel for our podcast of ideas. So during the week, anybody can just throw an idea there. And that's what I do. I throw ideas there, but I don't tell the context. So Drew's like, the hell is this? So this is another one, Drew, that I caught you on. Now I threw up this pre-approval there, and I've shouted this to the rafters. When you're getting a mortgage approval, get what's called a fully underwritten mortgage approval and nothing less, because that means you're done. Everybody thinks you get kind of pre-approved and they sort of look at stuff, and then once you get a deal, you have 10 days to get the mortgage done because you have a mortgage contingency in the contract. But what if you're bidding against 5 other people and they've all waived? And that's really normal in California. So you want to be done. You want it over with. You want the underwriter to look at everything. So anything short of that, I'm not saying it's a waste, but let's go down to the pre-approval. What that means is they ran you through a computer program at Fannie Mae based on what you told them. And there's certain things, they run your credit report, and then they issue this thing called a Fannie Mae desktop underwriter approval, which they translated back into an actual pre-approval form. But it says you're approved subject to you giving us all your documents and things like that. There's a lot of ways these letters are written, it says fully underwritten pre-approval, but it really is a pre-qualification. You have to be very careful. A pre-qualification means you just literally talk to a loan officer and over the phone, you told them what you want to do. They said, okay, I'll give you a letter. They don't even run your credit maybe. So those are completely worthless. But this buyer we have just got a pre-qualification letter, but it's okay because he's buying the house he's living in. By the way, we do a lot of these. We represent one party, in this case, the buyer. We don't represent the seller, but we do everything the seller needs in terms of the disclosures, etc. It just so happens that's the way this fell out. But the interesting thing was it was a condominium. It was more than 5 units. And if you listen to us regularly, which I don't think anyone does, but
You'd be surprised. Where's the fan base? I gave someone an autograph the other day.
Really, Drew's signing autographs. I have not been stopped in the grocery store yet.
That is just one of my identities.
No, but I don't have my picture on the cart that you're pushing or on the display where you can get the moist towelettes to rub your hands with. So we all seen those in supermarkets. Anyway, where was I going?
Condominiums. Modern
Yeah.
check your reserves.
Okay, so back to the thing when you have 5 units or more, Fannie Mae says you're supposed to have this reserve study. The reserve study says what's going to go wrong in the property that the condo is responsible for, like the roof and the sidewalks and the landscaping, everything. And it gives you an independent person comes out, evaluates everything and says, This is how much you should have in reserve right now. This is how much you should be collecting per month. So when the bill has to be paid in 10 years for the roof, you'll have enough money. That's the proper way of running a condominium association. Small, self-run condominiums usually don't have much in reserve, if anything. They kind of, we don't need that. We just pay $150 a month. We're not going to pay $300 a month. That's ridiculous. Why would we do that? It's a cheap condominium. Well, it's devaluing your property. If you don't have this reserve study and kind of act on it, you are going to not be able to get a mortgage. So we thought, or you can't get the best rates from Fannie Mae. Let's put it that way. There are, I still call them subprime lenders, who will do a non-conforming condominium, they'll call it. Got to put 30% down or something like that at least, and the rates are going to be higher by a couple of points. But here's an interesting little twist. So this buyer, he's great. He's prepared. It's just a pleasure to deal with him. He's already gone to this credit union. Now, credit union's interesting. Some of them never sell their mortgages. They, in some way, shape, or form, were able to hold on to 30-year paper. Most of them will have a 5 or 7 year arm, and what they do is they just mark up what they have to pay out as a CD for 5 or 7 years, go 2% higher, and loan that money out as a mortgage. That's kind of old school way of lending. Then they kind of worry about it later down the road, or there's all kinds of stuff they can do, technical financing stuff. Anyway, so he talked to this lender, and I asked the lender, and this woman who's the loan officer has been there 20 years. It's not like she's some newbie. And I asked, and she got us the form that you fill out. How many units are there? How many are owners? What's insured? There's like 20 questions that every time you get a mortgage, you got to answer this. The condo association does. I said to her, look, you're getting that. You're getting the condo docs. You're getting the insurance. You're getting the budget. Do you need a reserve study? And it's like, she didn't answer my email a couple of times, but at the end, after the third email, I said, I've been doing this a long time, and I just want to make sure we're not caught up later. She said, all we ask for is this condo form, the budget, the insurance, and the condo docs. And this is 100% owner-occupied condo. Everything's going to be great. So it's like, okay. They didn't want it. They probably do not sell the loan. And what people have to understand is the loan is sold to Fannie Mae, and maybe you're still going to make the payments to the lender. Fannie Mae owns the loan. They put it in a mortgage-backed security, $1 billion, $2 billion, whatever, and your loan is sold off to some pension fund or pieces of it. But the servicer of the loan is getting paid every month by Fannie Mae to service the loan. That's why there is a value to the servicing. So even if you're paying X mortgage company, they don't own your loan. They don't know you. Your loan is sold off. You have to start all over again when you refinance. But anyway, I'm of course going down the long rabbit hole with this. But what they're probably doing is closing the loans, keeping them. They have the ability to sell to Fannie Mae. I believe it's after 12 months of originating the loan, as long as there's no delinquents, they can sell it, and they don't have to get all the stuff about the loan. So I guess that's what they're doing. They keep most of their loans. From what I hear, people keep making their payments to this credit union. Credit unions are nonprofits also.
Yeah, we're not mentioning the credit union, but I have our solar loan through this credit union, so I'm familiar with them.
Oh, okay. Solar is a whole different thing, and we could do hours on solar.
I was just outside needing a new controller. Yeah. 0.9 for the roof and the solar.
So if you're in a situation where you have a crappy condominium that you want to get rid of, and you don't want to have to just have somebody pay cash or go extra high on the interest rates with a lot down, find a local or in your state credit union who will cover that area and see if they need the reserve study or not. I was completely surprised, but it's like, okay, cool.
You're surprised that they didn't need the reserve study?
Yes, we will talk back here after it closes. Okay. This is just what we have been told.
And shouldn't your buyer be worried that there's no reserve study?
I explained it left, right, and center.
Okay. And they're kind of waving the good recommendation.
He's lived there a bunch of years, I think 7 years or something. So he like knows what's going on. You know, he's not even doing an inspection of his unit. He knows what's going on with it. I told him he should still get it. But c'est la vie. So that's the big news. So I hear there's this is, what are we, April the 7th? I heard like on Friday, something happened with the stock market that sort of continued Monday and sort of bounced all around. And there's these new prices you can have to pay to get stuff from other countries. I don't know what's going on.
We are going to have more logs. Half the national forests have been opened up for logging.
Marvelous. Great. Let's bring it down here to Pacific Palisades and rebuild houses with the wood so it can burn again.
Yeah, that nice segue into 3D printing and concrete and all the other new building materials.
Yeah, Google it, kids. Don't need sticks and bricks anymore. I'm sorry to our friends in the bricklayers, but you know, hey, they probably run the 3D machines for the cement.
Well, there we have it. This has been another episode of We Fixed Real Estate.